Hello everyone, it's Olga Heldwine here, and today I would like to share how I created my whimsical canvas. To create this project, I used exclusively Little Birdie products that I grabbed from Frankfurt, and this video is part of my guest DT Sport at their blog. I started with handmade papers, and those are really good quality papers. They would be perfect for flower making or any kind of crafts. I found them really good surface for any kind of mixed media fun. I cut them for small pieces. I like to create the collage under my composition, and some of those pieces I treated with texture paste via stencils. And I have here, as you can see, quite a few patterns of Little Birdie stencils, and I also decided to use those rice-like decoupage papers. To apply the papers, I'm using a Little Birdie pouch thing. It's a perfect gluing solution for projects like that, but I should wet my paper first so it will be perfectly smooth without wrinkles. I didn't mind because I knew that I would go with my collage on top. And please pay attention how many beautiful details are in those papers. I have some that have fiber inside, and some of them have those amazing petals melted together with the paper. When my first layer of collage was ready, I let it dry. In the meantime, my texture paste got dry, so I could cut my textured elements also for tiny pieces and just fill up my composition. Everything together I covered with matte varnish. I like to use some kind of medium as a barrier between my surface and as a base for my future mixed media fun. With white gesso and a spatula, I made some marking just to make the whole project a little bit more cohesive, but spatula marks were definitely too rough, so I wiped them down with my towel. I started with chalk paints, but then I didn't like the effect too much, so I cut off this part in video, but you can see that my canvas have already some texture on it. And I went into the town with sprays. I love those sprays. They have really vibrant colors. So if you go for a pastel look, then be really gentle, because they are really pigmented. And I used here 3 colors. So yellow is yellow zinc, and it's very lemony, very warm, very bright yellow. My mid shade is paprika, and it's reddish, brownish, orange. Love this shade. I also, between applying my colors and water, I played a little bit with the brush. I made some splatters just to have a really messy look. And my darkest color was mocha, that gave me this purple undertone. So now we will go back and forward a few times, because that's how I like to work. I like work with layers. And each time when I'm losing something, I'm trying to pick it up. And this time I lost this texture on papers, so I decided to go with dry brushing and with some white gesso. Just pick up some gesso on your dry, soft brush, and then just go over your artwork really gently with brushing, not painting, no pressure at all. To assemble my focal point, I decided to go with the chipboards, and here you can see all the beautiful patterns that I picked, quite fairy tale like, and I layered them down to create a dimensional piece. And I also picked the wood leaf. To my lady on the photo, I added butterfly wings, so she looks like a tiny redhead fairy reaching for something, and whole feeling of the photo really fitted the feeling that I was going for with my project. I really wanted to play with those colors because it's my favorite Little Birdie combo, and second of all, I wanted to test as many products as possible. I tested the paste, I played with gesso, with gel medium, because we used gel medium here. I have it scooped out on the side of my table, and I'm just assembling everything with gel medium. And we are going with my first floral composition, and I will scratch that off. I left it in the video so you could see still my process, but there was a lot of going back and forward here. I also have Little Birdie wax, because some of the flowers had gold stamens, some of them have white, so I took a tiny brush and a gold wax and I just repainted all the middles in the flowers so they will be all gold. I struggled for a while with my composition, but I had a lot of Little Birdie branches and greenery from different sets, and I also had a lot of flowers. I picked the ones that will fit my color scheme, that was purples, yellows, and maybe a little bit of this powder pink, just to break down the palette a little bit, and of course some green. And I realized that at this moment it looks like crazy madness. I'm just basically building my composition around my photo, and I thought that the best option will be go with the wreath. I really like all the techniques that I'm using today are some kind of my favorite. I love dry brushing, and I love this way of applying color when you go with layers between fluid colors, maybe even acrylic colors, and some gesso in between, just to soften them and to have the perfect transition. And I like that I have a perfect transition from the white on the edges to very intense color just underneath my composition. I filled my whole piece with a little bit of buttons, and I just picked the ones that were in matching color palette, and I was more or less happy with it, but flowers still were standing out way too much. So this time I took really rough brush, and also it was dry, picking up a little bit of gesso from my plate on the side and slowly just building up this whimsical white coast over everything. We want subtle layer of white that will look very shabby, very whimsical in my opinion, and it will bring everything together. It will meet down the colors a little bit and give whole piece cohesive thing. I really love dry brushing, and I cannot rave enough about it. Dry brushing and waxing stuff are always my go-to solutions for everything. It took me a while and a little bit of dry brushing to finish off the project. I also added the sentiment leaf, and I think that it just fits beautifully. When everything was dry, then I figured out that I'm missing a little bit of intensivity of the colors around my composition. I really like when everything is focused around the photo, even the colors. So I went ahead, and this time I didn't spray, I just sprayed with water to give my colors perfect flow. This way they will increase all the textures that I worked really hard in the background. And I realized that you cannot see the petals and you cannot see the first layer that I put in with those beautiful decoupage papers, but it's a layer and it's a part of the process. I didn't know where we're going with this artwork until I added colors and saw how everything works with the photo. I didn't have any assumption. I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to play with this particular color palette on bigger surface. And my canvas is quite big. It's 12 by 12 inches. I like that it's a circle, so it always gives you a really cool option of the surface. And some cool composition tricks. Little Birdie have an amazing surfaces, a really thick MDF boards, and I believe the 12-inch circle is one of them. So again, as I added some color, I need a coat of white gesso, and those coats are really light. We don't want to build up the bulk, but this is the final coat, so probably I will go a few times with really soft brush all around, and that's the final look. Okay, I will leave you all the Little Birdie links in the description down below, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and see you at the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.